What's up everyone, Nora back from AP Shield. Today I'm going to be showing you how to wrap a Porsche mirror in one piece. Generally these mirrors do have a seam right along this body line, so one piece down here, one piece up top. I don't think it's pretty professional. Again, if it's going to be a template kit, no problem, there's no risk for any damage. But I'm going to be showing you how to do this. Obviously bulking, so we are going to be cutting with a knife. Again, if you're inexperienced with paint protection film, I would recommend doing the kit cut. Don't do it unless you know what you're doing with a knife, because there could be some serious consequences. So I'll take you step-by-step process on how to wrap this mirror in one solid piece with paint protection film. What you're going to need obviously is paint protection film, a little bit of patience, and a steamer. The steamer does help quite a bit. Now let's begin. All right, so first things first, obviously wash the mirror down. Again, we're doing a full body wrap in this beautiful GT2 RS. I already posted, I'm going to be posting a video of how to remove some factory paint protection film, but I know a lot of people are always interested in how to wrap the mirrors on a Porsche in one solid piece. So I'll do this for one of the demonstrations in this car. So what we want to do is spray a little bit of slip solution on the mirror. I'm going to peel off the paint protection film. Again, I'm doing a bulk install. There we go. Spray down the PPF, spray down some of the mirror, and now we're going to position the film. Generally, you would want to start off with the film like that. What we're going to do is something a little bit different. I'm going to spray a little bit of tack, and I'm going to feed the film immediately into that little cavity opening. Reason why is I want to have little tension in here, so the film itself is going to be able to fall, like push and fall into place inside that little opening. All of this, we're going to be able to use the steamer to help us stretch the film in and around the mirror. So starting point, again, this is the way that I do it. Maybe there's guys out there doing it on a slightly different method, but as long as it works, as long as it doesn't peel, that's what you want. So again, starting point is going to be right around the bottom. There's a body line. We're going to start right below the body line, or right here. So now what we have to do, stretch the film and then trim it so it falls into place. I'll show you guys exactly how to do everything now. So now that I have this little area locked in, I'm going to go grab the steamer. So first things first, spray some slip solution underneath. I like using a little bit of tack so it's not too slippy for us. You spray a little bit of tack, and then we're going to position the film. And what I want to do is start pulling the film over here. We're going to leave this stretched till later. You can see it's already starting to take shape, but I first want to work out all the tension along here. So what we're going to do with the steam, warm up the film a little bit. And then I'm going to stretch it right along this body line of the mirror. So we stretched it right along here so it falls all into place. And now same thing, what I'm going to do is a little bit of tack solution. There's a little bit of a tension over here, film buildup, so we're just going to lift it up a bit. And now what you want to do is steam this area. You don't want to steam here, just steam this area. Now I'll tell you why we're steaming this area. What you want to do, we're stretching the film from here outwards. Obviously I did give it a slight tug, but we know that all of this film along here doesn't have much of a stretch. Everything's stretched out along here. So now what I'm going to do is use the squeegee all the solution out from underneath the mirror and down here as well. Around the edges of the mirror now, what we want to do is lift up a bit. You just want to lift it up maybe about 1/8 of an inch, spray some tack solution, and again, I'm looking for any fingers or any tension of it pulling back. What we don't want to see is big fingers and that it starts feeding back into the mirror. We know that's going to be a problem area, and the mirror will lift up in time. So now I'm just simply laying the film back into place. Now I know that the entire outside edge has zero tension whatsoever. There is obviously a little bit here, but a slight tug down here will fix this issue. Now with the knife, what I'm going to do is, I'm not cutting on car. I'm going to give it a slice this way. So as you can see, I cut it going inwards that way, just so we can wrap the rest of the carbon underneath the mirror all in one piece. So again, I'm going to use tack solution, position it right under here. So you can tell I'm wrapping the entire carbon piece in one piece of film. And that's going to be ready for trimming later on. Now we're going to come back to this little area. This area is where you want to make sure you don't have any fingers or too much tension. So I'm going to spray a little bit of tack with the steamer. Again, gently warm it up. And I'm going to pull the film again. Make sure I'm feeding it inside a little bit, but I'm going to pull the film downwards so it hugs everything along here. There we have it. With this type of install, you do want to work a little bit quick, just because if you take your time too long, the glue might dry and you'll have a lot of pull and stretch marks. The trick with this that I found, try getting the mirror done pretty quickly. Again, if it's your first time, it is going to take a little bit of patience, but you will get it. Try following these steps and it will come out the exact same way that I've done it. So now that we've come to this area, we're ready for trimming. I'm going to make another video telling you, like explaining how to hand cut. So again, if this is your first time hand cutting it, I don't recommend like obviously hand cutting on a GT2 RS if you don't know what you're doing, but a good trick is check on an exterior piece of film how sharp the blade is. You don't want to have something that, so you see this blade isn't exactly good. I'm just letting it glide. It's not cutting through, or it's barely cutting through. You want to make sure that the knife itself is sharp enough that with little pressure, it'll score the material. So let me just get a good piece of blade going. So what I'm going to do now is right along this body line, I'm going to make a small incision, and now I'm going to go downwards. The reason why I'm going downwards, I'll explain that, is if we were to keep on cutting straight, the film itself would start digging inside here, and it's not gonna, like, it's gonna have exposed areas. So now that we have that done, what I want to do as well is let's trim off a little bit of this. So I don't want to go all the way in. Same thing, I'm just going to trim it a little bit, like so. So now we can kind of have a better understanding of how the film wants to lay inside this cavity. And as you can tell, there's barely any stretch, it's already covering inside. So let me see if I can stick my fingers through. But that's covering already everything inside. So now what we have to figure out is how to cut this cleanly and that we still have full coverage. So what I like doing is I'm going to start off against this line over here. There's the bottom of that inside cavity towards the window. We're going to start there. Just make sure that the knife is okay. Yeah, perfect. So again, I'm not tacking down yet. I'm just getting an understanding of how the film wants to lay down. You don't want to tack it down 100% yet, but just have it like that. And now what we can do is from the very inside, just trim it. Okay, so we got that. And now in here, the same thing. What I'm going to do is take the knife, make a slight incision. Right along there. Now we'll pull the film out. And again, if it didn't cut through, that's fine. Odds are it probably left a little score mark, as you can see. That's where the score mark is. So while it's off the car, I'm going to continue that cut along the score line. Again, it's not the cleanest cut right here. I'll touch that up in a second. That one we know it's clean. And again, all we're going to do is where those two cuts ended, we're going to just join them. Let me see if I can clean this cut up a little bit. Now what I'll do is lift up, spray tack solution, hit it with a little bit of steam, and this piece is going to fall right in place. So pay attention. I don't know if you can see from the camera, but everywhere that we cut along is going to fall right along that seam. It's perfectly covered. Again. I want to make sure that you guys can tell the film's all the way inside here, and as you can see, it's falling right along the carbon fiber body line perfectly. And all the high impact areas are covered, and it's going pretty much almost towards the back right here. So again, it's a little bit tricky with the squeegee. This is the one that I just so happen to have, but I'll fix it up with another squeegee in a bit. And I got everything anyways. Okay. So now, everything's wrapped on the inside here, all across the carbon, and we have the film going all the way down here. What we're going to start doing is trimming everything. So again, I don't think there's any reason to keep the mirror there for a few hours. If it's going to be lifting, it's going to be lifting now. What we want to do is make sure that it's on there properly, and then we'll heat treat it with a little bit of steam afterwards as well. So again, I'm going to start off from the bottom and work my way up. see if I can fold the mirror a little bit. These mirrors don't fold, do they? Yeah, they do. Okay, got it. Yeah. Let me just move the camera back so you guys can see a little bit better. So again, as you can tell, there's no tension. I'm going to lift the film back just a little bit towards the carbon. So before we actually cut it, what I want to do is treat it with a little bit of heat. So this is an old school trick. I know a lot of window tinters, like the old school window tinters, will know this. They use heat and then they immediately blast it with cold water to shock the adhesive into place. So I'll do the same thing with the PPF here. So pay attention there. You see how it's lifting up? I have to fix that. So again, it is pulling back a little bit over there. That's why I hit it with the heat. That's why I didn't cut it right away, because I wanted to make sure that it's not going to do any of that. So what we do is press down. I'm going to heat it up and then blast it with cold water. Nice and warm. Now immediately cool it off. So that transition from hot cold, it activates the glue, it shocks it into place, and now it's not going to be lifting up over here. So let's try it again with the steamer. Okay. Let's try it again with the steamer. So as you can tell, it did not peel back on the carbon at all, meaning it's ready to cut. So again, I'm going to make sure the knife is nice and sharp. Perfect. And now, with a certain angle, you don't want to hold the knife too sharp of an angle, just very lightly, minimal pressure. We're going to be putting a little incision. The trick with this is we're cutting the film halfway through, so I'm not actually penetrating the film, or else I'd be cutting onto the carbon. I'm trying to get that feel to cut halfway through the material. Okay. Let's see. Go. Change the angle of the camera a bit. Okay. There we have it. Generally, any Porsche mirror is going to be the same way. A little bit of steam, a little bit of patience. You get in there, you get to cover all the carbon fiber. It looks a lot better, in my opinion, than doing it in kit cut with multiple pieces, and you still don't get full coverage in a kit cut. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on the video, and thank you for watching, guys.